Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Matt Fryer Golf Podcast. We're in a totally different place to the studio in Warrington today. We're sat on our balcony in sunny Cala, and it's not Tom's little face that you're seeing to
Definitely
the left
not,
of me.
no.
It's Joe, our cameraman.
Hello there.
Who's he's the man behind the magic that comes to all the screens on the main channel. Joe is the man who puts them all together, shoots them, and makes me look half decent.
The brains of the operation, some would say.
The brains, that would be it. That's self-coined, obviously, from you. But yeah, we're out here in Cala. We've had 3 fantastic days shooting, escaping the wet and dreary UK, shooting some stuff that's coming out in January. And we asked some of you to ask us some questions over on our socials, and we're going to get into those beforehand. But have you had a good couple of days here?
It's been nice. It's been different being out week before Christmas, and being in shorts and t-shirt and in the sun and 18 degrees and enjoying that, as opposed to very grey skies and gloomy back home.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it, to think actually in 7 days it is Christmas Day, but we're out here and it's sunny. It feels like almost summertime, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, very interesting to do that. We've been filming some stuff, some playing vlogs. We've played all 3 courses. If you've never been to Cala, there is the Asia, the America, and then the Europa, which was the last of the courses, which was opened in 2005. It's been quite quiet here, the resort, obviously being the week before Christmas, so it's been ideal. There's still quite a bit of golf going on, but been ideal for us to get some. We've been doing some club stuff, some new Mizuno stuff that's coming out, and then also, like I say, some playing stuff that we've got coming out in early January. Well, throughout the first, is it 3 weeks of Jan?
Yeah, very good series.
Yeah,
good. Interesting to see.
Yeah, it's one that I think for me, I was apprehensive shooting it, maybe, because you're putting everything on the line.
A little bit of nerves,
with it. Yeah. And then, but like you say, as we've gone along, it's been quite interesting, and I've really enjoyed the whole series as we've gone through it. So make sure you're tuning into the main channel for those videos when we are coming out. Just up on other golf news, the Showdown.
The Showdown, yeah. In Vegas.
Yeah.
Did you see much about it?
No.
I didn't see much of it advertised. Didn't know where to watch it. Didn't know what time it was on. Didn't know the format. And had to Google this morning who won.
It feels like, for what it could have been, they really missed the trick.
Yeah, I think it feels like, I said this to you earlier today, it feels like that Liv and PGA and the PGA Tour had like nothing to do with it, and it was just kind of like their own separate entity. Like you see, is it with the match? Is it when you get like celebrities involved? And that's obviously like a bit of fun, and it's competitive, but in a good way, because it's household names playing against each other, and there's also that like lightheartedness about it. Yeah, I don't know what they were. They weren't trying to sell it as a big showdown, as Liv versus PGA Tour, and they weren't either like kind of selling the other part of it. That'll be nice to see 4 of the best players in the world playing against each other. So
yeah, it was a weird one, wasn't it? I think obviously that with us being out here filming as well, timing wise, it would have been 11 o'clock. I think back in the UK it was midnight out here, so we were, you're never realistically going to stay up and watch it. But even then, like you say, back home, I've been excited for it, but I almost forgot that it was happening until it got to yesterday. I was like, oh, that thing with Rory's on this week. And like you say, I think with Liv not being involved, I think Liv probably played up the most to it with their socials. They were asking us all, like they were messaging Grant Horvat and doing different things like, who have you got? And every I think there was 10 things on the Insta carousel that they did, and everyone was like, oh, defo Bryson. It was like, oh, interesting. Like, did no one say Rory or Scheffler then? Obviously they're coming from their standpoint, but it feels like they were the only ones who really sort of pushed for it. Obviously the PGA don't like players doing things outside of the PGA entity, do they? You know, so whether they would have been pleased and wanted to promote it, I don't know. But yeah, it just feels like there was a trick missed with that.
Yeah, especially
that whole thing.
The timing of it as well. Like all the DP sort of wound down past last month, and you know there's still PGA Tour events going on, but not obviously massive ones just before Christmas as well. Felt like it was the last big event of golf before, you know, the holiday season, and then sort of going into next year.
Yeah.
And felt like they probably missed a trick with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, it was a shame because it was something that I was looking forward to. And even now, like when we get back home and we're going to be off for, you know, the Christmas period, I'm not like, oh, I need to go and watch that.
Yeah.
It's not something that's really, really like pulling me in to make me go and watch it. But who knows, maybe in the future they can learn from that, and maybe it would be good to see. And I think I saw a tweet saying, oh yeah, there's definitely this match where we're taking the best 3 or the best 5 of LIV versus the best 5 of the PGA Tour again. Who's gonna promote that? Who's gonna run it? Are PGA going to be bothered about it? I don't know, but just seems like there was a little bit of a trick missed. Just on a side note, guys, if you are hearing a little bit of background noise, there's some building work going on the other side of the hotel, and they are just doing a bit of work around there, so apologies if you can hear of any of that. But yeah, it's time for some questions and answers. I've just realised, looking across there, sorry to totally flip the script, that's that 14th tee. That's the do you know? Oh no, that's the 12th tee. No, I've got this so wrong. That's the 11th tee. For those who are listening, you won't have a clue of what I'm saying, but if you go to the YouTube channel, you'll see that we're sat on the balcony of our hotel room, which overlooks the whole of the Mijas Mountains.
That's the 18th tee there, no?
Yeah, but I'm over this house here, over the top of the house there. Where that point is. That's where that amazing par 3 is. But yeah, the view that we've got back, we can literally see down here is the 17th green, the 16th fairway is behind us, and the 18th tee of the Asia course is there. We actually filmed one video here, and Andy Carter would have put it onto this balcony from his tee shot. He hit a push slice that was low and going like a rocket, and it was coming directly at here a few years ago. So it's actually quite nice that they've let us back. He was meant to be here, but they said no. But yeah, we're going to get on to some questions now that the listeners have been firing in. If you don't already, make sure you're following us on our socials on at Matt Fryer Golf on Instagram, at the Matt Fryer Golf podcast as well. Facebook, you'll find me on Matt Fryer Golf, and info at mattfryergolf.co.uk for any email questions that you want to fire in. But Joe, hit us with our first question.
Starting with Facebook.
Yeah, who's it from?
We've got a question from a top fan here, Chris Jenks. Matt, do you have an official handicap, and how often do you play to it?
Well, it's like Chris has read our mind, because what we've been out here doing at Cala for the past 3 days is getting a handicap. I've played 3 rounds now. I know what my handicap would be. I'm not going to reveal it. You're going to have to watch the episodes there. But yeah, we sort of thought, with me trying to win my first pro comp, it's going to be maybe March time, April time, before the events get started on the PGA North region again. And obviously with weather and everything in England, it's not great. So we thought, well, how can we sort of get a baseline as to see where my game's at, and
how, bit of a level up.
Yeah, how would I compare to what maybe the sort of best guys. We've gone through this in the videos as well. We've sort of taken some of the scores of what they are doing on the PGA North region to see roughly where the handicaps are, and we thought, well, why don't we go and do 3 rounds where I play 3 different courses, play with a scorecard in hand like the in the Reds, and but actually have the goal of it's based over 3 rounds, and see what my playing handicap would be after 3 rounds. So 3 tough golf courses out there. We've played right off the back tees.
Tough,
in December. Obviously the courses are great, the ball's still bouncing, but it's playing a little bit longer than it would do normally in summer. But yeah, we've done that, Chris, so make sure you are watching those 3 videos and you'll find out what my handicap would be. You know what it was. What do you think? Did you expect it to be higher or lower?
I expected it to be. It was probably right around
Do you? Right, okay.
Before
I
a
thought
ball was hit,
Yeah.
that was probably where I was expecting, especially because we did the calculations beforehand of what
Yeah.
375s would have been.
Yeah.
Found out what that would have been. And then obviously knew what your handicap was when you did it this last time.
Yeah.
So I was expecting it maybe, probably right around.
Okay.
But it was fun to see, like, the process of obviously after filming one round where it was sat at, and
Yeah.
then, you know, 9 holes later into the video,
Yeah.
and then thinking,
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
yeah, it's a good
actually.
process to see.
It'd be good maybe to do it again, like 6 months down the line and go,
Yeah.
right, okay, here we are. Maybe not 3 videos, but 1 video,
Show
play all 3 courses.
that practice paying off.
Yeah, and just see where we're at. But yeah, it's interesting. A very good benchmark to start off with.
Yep.
Where are we at next?
Next one, still on Facebook. This one's from Trevor Bennett. He says, please show me how to play the low and high chip shots. It destroys my game every time I play.
Okay, so low and high chip shots. I think, well, there are videos on the channel, lots of short game videos that will do their work. But I think people overcomplicate it. The club selection's a big part of it as well. You'll probably be using the wrong tool. You know, sometimes we see people trying to play the low chip shot with a lofted chip, trying to do everything with a lob wedge. So, you know, whether it's just getting the 8 iron, using more of a putting stroke to get the ball running along. And I think a lot of the time when we go into the high shot, too much is trying to be done. You know, you try and see these, you know, towering Phil Mickelson-like wizard shots when really you probably need one of those, maybe one around if needed. And if you're, you know, a mid to high handicapper, you don't even need that. You just need a chip that's going to be reliable that'll get you on the green.
Keep the 60-degree wedge in the bag.
Yeah, and we've done we've done another video of that recently that was released about a week or two ago about, you know, what the 60 is and where it could be hurting you and how you're going to use it if you are going to use it properly. So I think, you know, we have got some short games tips on the list to do when we're out in a couple of weeks filming. So yeah, I think it's a lot down to club selection and, you know, try and be as simple as possible when you play them.
Okay, next moving over to Insta. Monster Boy Racing 47 says, a bit of a tech question here. Can you explain what adding weight to the rear of a driver does and also the front?
Yeah, so what you're doing essentially, you're changing not only like what effect it'll have on spin, but also you'll affect how much forgiveness you're going to get. You see, obviously, with a lot of low spinning drivers, the weight is forward, so the COR gets shifted up to the front, which means then it's not going to be as stable and what's the right word? It's going to be open to more twisting if you put more weight at the front of a driver, it's going to lower the spin, it's going to lower the forgiveness, because that twist in the club face, any off-centered hit, there's going to be more twist, so then you're going to see more shape. Put it at the back, again, this is what we see with putters as well now with the mallets, more weight at the back, you're basically lowering the ability of the club head to twist on any off-centered hits, so you're maximising the forgiveness. What it will do generally as well with weight more towards the back, it's going to pump that spin up as well. So not only will you have less twist, you'll have increased spin, which again is going to limit that shape on the driver, so you're going to see more straighter shots. Potentially you might, you know, a lot of people would say, well, get the weight forward, you're going to see more distance, but you're going to have to get it right as well. You have to get it, you know, bob on out the middle as well.
Like Carter's in the Break 50 video.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly
the
like that.
Burner.
The way that driver was set up was pure wind. He was doing then, but his distance actually dropped because he couldn't get it up high enough. So, you know, there's a happy medium, and that's again where the fitting comes in. That's okay. We'll answer that later. That call.
Next one, Liam Taztyra. Where is your dream golfing destination?
Do you know what? After seeing Pete Finch's photos the other day, I want to go to South Africa. I really want to go to South Africa.
They look ridiculous.
Not only for the golf, but you've got like the perfect combo there. You've got fantastic golf, fantastic wine and food, and then the nature element.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be the one that I wish to go for.
Nice. Another tech one here. Sorry, no more travel ones. What are your big travel plans for 2025?
We've not finalised anything yet. There's a couple of things that we want to do. There's a trip to America where we're trying to get filming with some of the bigger names over there. We're talking probably around the Myrtle Beach area that we'll be hopefully going to sort of the first quarter of the year. And then there's another couple of channels that we want to do a collaboration with that we're in the middle of planning, and that'll be a European destination. Here was actually talked about because it makes sense, we're literally on the golf courses, there's three of them,
perfect.
and it's the perfect location, quality nick, good test of golf. And then there's also another collaboration which, if this one comes off, people will go nuts for.
Teasing them.
Yeah, that'll be probably some of the biggest videos in golf YouTube
Ever.
Well, I think it will be huge. Like bar some of what Bryson's done. I think if this one with the other people come off, it'll be massive.
Nice. Next one. Colin Wallace says, when will we see you and Tom doing an In the Red together?
We've got. Well, it's tough with Tom. Like Tom's still full-time coaching, and he's such a good coach that his diary is so busy. So we struggle to get timings together. So sort of selfishly, we will plan, our diary and do what we're doing. And if Tom can fit into it, great. So hopefully, we get a little bit more time moving forwards into next year, and we do want to get him on a couple more. So, it's just as and when diaries work.
So, next question. This could be quite relevant after a day out on the golf course today.
Ooh.
What's the one thing that still haunts your golf game from the day you started to now?
Do you know, it's a straight, you wouldn't say, I have any regrets or anything like that. But one thing that sort of, if we took it from a golf swing perspective, one thing that I wish I would have maybe cemented earlier in the game and always worked hard, and I still work on to this day, is my grip. I used to have a really strong, my left hand was so strong and my right hand was so strong. So I used to have a very closed club face, and it's still the habits of, I always say in the coaching videos and stuff, are always going to be the same. Your tendencies will. And when my golf gets bad, the grip goes firstly, so my face then gets stronger, which means then I start getting this slide and trying to hold the club face, and it just becomes hard to, hit it consistently in terms of the strike, because I'm just trying to hold the face as much as possible to not get it closed. And then direction becomes an issue from there then, so I'm not able to go at it as hard as I would want, because everything I'm doing is putting the brakes on to try and
something Coach Carter was trying to fix.
a little bit, his was more about the turn. It's something that my dad, whenever I go and see my dad for a lesson, he's like, that hands, and I'm like, and one thing I have actually done this winter, I've got a club with a training grip on it now. Got it off Amazon and just stuck it on a 7-iron, and I'm just trying to hit more balls with that each time, and it's something that I'm aware of all the time. So that's probably the thing that haunts my game.
Nice. Next question, sort of around more content series. Can we see a series of doing the best courses for under £100 around the UK?
Yeah, I think so. We've planned what we want to do next year already with the playing content, in terms of sort of in the red as the staple. In the red, the 30 shots are happening only if we get big guests there reserved for them. We've got 5 of those penciled in for next year. And then in the red, we're looking at, we want to have a story behind every in the red moving forward. So one of those stories was having a course at a certain price point, whether it be £50 or £25, or finding the cheapest course on maybe a Golf Now or something like that, if we can do that. We're trying to look at maybe the budget ones. We're aware, obviously, not everyone can or is as fortunate to get invited to the big Barry bag tag golf courses, and I'm always going to say yes to those, because even for me, it's like oh, that's great, I got to play them, and I potentially wouldn't if it was doing any other line of work. So I'm going to take that opportunity, but we're also mindful that, you know, the viewers as well, and the listeners may be working to a, you know, £30 is a round of golf for them, and we want to try and find the best value that we can that's, you know, on par or close to a championship course that we can go and play and showcase.
Go and play Kings Barnes or and
I think that's one of the things as well. A lot of the channels as well, they go and do those things, don't they? So, you know, it's something a little bit different. If we can accept, or people can accept, all right, it might not be the best viewing course, but there's a story behind it.
There's a story there to tell.
So, hopefully get a few more of those next year.
Next one is relating to being here in Cala from Tee Shots Only. Did you play Asia? We gave that one a miss. Way too hard for me and my dad.
Yeah, we did. Played Asia this morning. Actually, it was the final one for the Handicap series. It's the hardest one in terms of the slope. 140, I think. Yeah. Is it 132 for Europa? 136 for America?
I think maybe 136, 138.
136, 138. Yeah. It's weird. I think it is tricky and it is fiddly. If you play it off the right tees for whatever your level is, if you know,
very difficult off the tee. Getting the ball into play.
If you went maybe, so they've got, what is it? White, yellow, red, green.
Red, blue, green, I think. Yeah.
Red, blue, green.
Although
so even if you went off the reds,
out,
if you were a mid-handicapper, it becomes a little bit more manageable off the tee.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of elevation change, and you just got to know where to hit it. If you get driver out on every tee and start spraying it, it becomes an absolute beast, and you'll get battered by it. But if you played it off the reds and you knew where you were going, I think for me it's actually my favourite course. It's the first ever course I played here 20 years ago when I came with my dad. So I've got fond memories from that sort of thing. It is punishing in certain aspects, but we did okay today, so I don't mind it.
Yeah, you could definitely rack up a big score up there if you play it for the first time.
Oh yeah, blind.
Not knowing where you go in, pulling driver out and just whizzing it into all the trouble.
Yeah, you'd need a lot of golf balls.
Another one sort of relevant to what we've been shooting this week.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
One more.
Bless you.
For good luck.
Another one relevant to what we've been shooting this week. What irons are coming from Mizuno in 2025 and release dates? Need new clubs from Steve Hattersley.
We can't say, but watch the channel.
But they're good.
Yeah, watch the channel next month. There's going to be some videos on those. Well done, Steve. There's a red light going there, Joe. What's happening? We'll be okay. Be okay, it's still going. We've got 3 more questions to go here, have we?
Yeah, there's a couple that are sort of, don't know if I can ask you that one. Another one.
What is it?
It says favourite Cobra and Ping range.
Oh yeah, you can ask that. That's fine. They're not going to. Mizuno aren't going to chop my hands off.
And then there's another one. Yeah, go ahead with that one.
Favourite Cobra or Ping range? I would say Ping, and I would say just the G range of drivers have always been. They're just so reliable. The G430, even if you go to like the 425s, or do you know what was really good back in the day? The S59 irons. I had 3 sets of them. They were that good.
I think they might have been before my time.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, you were probably just getting out of diapers or nappies at that point. But yeah, they were proper back in the day.
Another good one gets inside the mind of you here. Did you consider or were you offered any other club deals, or was Mizuno the only one you wanted?
Yeah, who's that from?
Liam Tastyra.
Oh, Liam, you rascal. So, yeah, well, with Mizuno, I was a clothing ambassador for them anyway for 3 years, so I'd already developed a really good relationship with everyone that worked there. They sort of supported all our content and wanted to help push us forwards. My friend Al, who's the tour manager there, and Joe, and even Matt, who's left to go and work at Cobra now, really good friends with those guys. And as we were talking, it was more of they'd been asking for the last 2 years to do it, and I've always said no. And then with Al, I'd had to sit down with him, and we had a good discussion about, like, well, what do we see going forwards for, you know, the partnership between us? What do we see? Or he was asking me what I see, you know, with the channel. What do I want to do? What do I want to do with my own golf? What sort of journey are we going on? And as those conversations were happening, it was like, well, you know, the things that I've talked about, not doing tech reviews anymore, it just made more and more sense. So we weren't offered another deal from anyone else. There'd been talk, you know, amongst other brands of like, oh, what are you doing with those, and would you consider doing stuff with us? But there was never anything solid on the table. But it was more, like I say, the fact that we'd been with Mizuno for a couple of years, and they were invested in me, I was invested in the people that are there, and it just sort of worked for us. And it was something that I liked the product, and for me, it was I like the guys more than anything. And even Kate now, who's left, who's actually Alex's wife, she works at PRG now. But even working with her, she worked in the sales side. It was really good, you know, from that standpoint as well. So everyone that was there, it was
Good
just,
relationships with good people.
Yeah, that was more of what it was about. And then obviously the irons, the wedges, and everything. If you do watch as well now, we just filmed a new What's in the Bag, and there's some real awesome releases. Obviously, people say I'm biased on that, but there's a putter release and a wedge release and even a ball release that I think are just, yeah, I think there'll be a lot of heads turned next year. So yeah, that was how all that came about.
And last one's going to be coming from me.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Recently we had the Break 50 go out.
Yes.
It wasn't optimum conditions for breaking 50.
40 miles per hour winds and
blowing a hole,
6 degrees.
Yeah, also probably about, what was it, 5,400 yards?
5,400, yeah, past 72.
The front tees were about
10
yards in front of the yellows.
Yes.
If you were to go with the same crew,
yes,
and maybe add one more, what course would you go to play off the fronts, play in nice conditions, good greens? What course would you go to make it possible?
You need somewhere. So like you said, that was the big difference with St Anne's Old Links. It's fantastic, but it was just brutal.
Yeah.
You need somewhere, like I know Pete's done it at Selena with the Brian Bros,
yeah.
And I saw that they were, and even when Bryson's doing it, he's hitting irons onto par fours. Mm-hmm. We hit one driver onto one par four.
Yeah.
So somewhere around here could be good, you know. The America course off the greens round here would be good.
Yeah.
Warrington off the blue tees would be pretty decent. And then I'm not too sure really where there's another one. You could maybe do the Dukes off the Golds.
The good thing about the Dukes is that the actual difference, because there's 7 sets of tees.
Yeah, it's astronomical.
From the blacks to the Golds, is it at the front?
Yeah, the Golds. Yeah.
On some par fives, there could be like 200 yards of difference on it.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. Like the first is near, I think, is 180.
Yeah.
It's some of the par fours as well. They're the big thing with the Golds round there.
Yeah.
Like the fourth becomes drivable. The second potentially becomes drivable. Off the back tees, it's, I think, one of the hardest holes on the course.
Yeah.
But off the front tees, it becomes very drivable. So I would say maybe do it at the Dukes. And another player to add in, we need a precision iron player, because we've got me for putting.
Yeah.
We need... Can I take anyone?
I guess so. It's an empty roster spot, so...
Yeah. Who would I have? Do you know, pick someone realistic. Do you know who I'd take? I'd take my dad. For the simple fact that he would never miss a fairway.
Yeah.
So he'll hit it 250.
Relieving some pressure there.
Yeah, and he's very good with his irons, just like middle of the greens all the time. He would be like our perfect banker. So we'd have Pete like lacing it.
Yeah.
When needed. Carter's just steady, good pitcher and chipper of the
Carrying
golf ball. Yeah,
apparently.
carrying us. I'll hole every putt, and then Dad, when we need a bit of solidarity, he's going to do that.
Very nice.
Well, thank you all for your questions, and thank you, Joe, for filling in whilst Tom's
Very
left
welcome.
in rainy England. We're going to head out to the golf course again now and get our last little bit of content for the year. Guys, thanks for listening. A little bit of a shortened episode. We won't be here for the next couple of weeks because it is Christmas. I hope you have a very good Christmas to you and your families. Thank you for listening and supporting the podcast channel over the past 6 months, and we will see you in the new year.
Goodbye.